Hi there, YouTube. This is the Magnus, bringing you another Total War Warhammer online tournament battle. This is round 2, match 3 against Artemis Minion. He elected to play as the vampire counts, and I decided to bring the Warriors of Chaos. So here's what we brought as far as an army. We have Forsaken, 4 of them, and they are interspersed with 3 aspiring champions. In reserve, we have Chaos Warriors with halberds on each side and a giant in the middle. Then we have a flying corps of a sorcerer of fire, a Chaos Lord on the dragon mount, and a feral manticore. My opponent brought 4 cryptors, which you can see interspersed throughout his army. Up front, he has 3 zombies. Behind them, he has 3 Grave Guard with great weapon and the Sternsman Grave Guard. And then in the back, he has Skeleton Spearmen, and he has 4 of those. As far as heroes, he elected to bring 2 of the Banshees, 1 White King, and the Strigoi Gold King, looks like with Soul Leech, his ability to spawn Crypt Horrors, and a couple of other abilities. So this is a map I haven't really played on much, so I thought it was kind of interesting. So I decided to deploy the majority of my forces here in the forest, since the only large thing I had was the Chaos Giant, and I parked them in the rear while I put my flying corps up front so we can do some harass and of course some sweet fireball action, because as you know, fireballs can be quite effective against vampire armies. Specifically things like the Banshee or a Necromancer corpse cart type situation, but no corpse cart, and just a more, I would say, almost old school VC army here. So I'm going to open up with trying to put a fireball down on the Banshee. Going to bring in a nice eater there, and boom, she ceases to exist. Just right back into the ground she came out of. So obviously very pleased with that result. Now what I haven't done in the past, and I noticed I did a little damage to the Strigoi Gold King, I haven't tried Fireball on him before, so I was very tempted. I knew I could possibly take this other Banshee out, but I was like, wow, if I could get rid of their leadership, that would be a really awesome thing. As you can see, I wind up another Fireball here, and this time I do go for the Banshee. And I notice I do half the damage to the Strigoi Gold King. The problem is I do not have enough mana at this moment to finish him, and he's about to go into the forest, so the timing was terrible. And he uses Invocation of Nahak, and he's going to be just fine. So fast forward here just a bit. I'm looking around for a harass opportunity. Can I get a clean fireball in? The answer is no. And then I notice he's left these poor little crypt horrors here that I believe his summoned ones didn't have a command to go with the rest of his army, so I'm going to bring in the flying crew and attempt to punish them for that. You got to take any opportunity like this that you can get. You absolutely have to take. Now they are going to make it in the forest, which is going to make my work a little harder for me, but it is not going to save them. It's just going to prolong how long it takes me to kill them at this point, because he decides, and I think correctly so, to just move forward rather than go back, try to get, save the Crypt Horror, let me build up some more Winds of Magic, and make an even tougher fight for him. So he keeps pushing forward while my flying crew attempts to finish off those Crypt Horrors. Now I kind of took a bit of a gamble here, and that is bringing Forsaken against the vampires can be a great thing or it can be a very bad thing. And I say that because if you can burn them down really quick, to the point that you're doing more damage than their healing can possibly sustain, then you're being in great shape. Whereas if you can't do that, they're going to outlast you. So I decided to pull right over the Strigoi Gold King and fire a fireball off at him. I don't know if it's a bug or it's supposed to happen, but it fails completely, and there's no fireball. I've also noticed that tends to happen when you're very close to your target. It even says it works well at range, and I swear to God it works better at range. But anyways, our lines are engaged. I'm very weak in the center. He's decided to put most of his heroes, Lord, his pain's coming towards the center. But my hope is the giant can get a lot of damage in on all this and be able to hold out long enough. While over here on the left, I'm overloaded, plus I bring in the flying squad to try to do some extra damage, get a little bit of flank action on the side. And I'm basically going to rotate my flying crew to different parts in the fight. Over here, I like what I'm seeing. I've got a nice, semicircle, so his men aren't in as good a position, or his dead men in this case. But the one thing that does concern me is the Stearnsmen. They are so tough to put down. They hang in there a long time. They do great damage. I mean, they're definitely one of the best units the vampires have. So that's definitely a concern. But here, I'm looking at it. His left is, on my left I'm doing well. On my right, I feel I'm doing well. And the center, though, is not going well. He continues to just put more and more down on my giant. And I have these aspiring champions here, and they're getting great kills. But since they're few unit models, they don't provide much protection, around the Chaos Giant to help deflect enemy attacks. So on second thought, I probably should have committed more infantry here. I kind of overestimated the survivability of a giant against the vampires, because the vampires do have a hard time with them. But when you let them get this much of a crew going, it's a lot harder on the giant. And as you can see, he's about 2/3 of the way down. But his left is all but completely failed. And I've got, aspiring, I believe I have aspiring champions. Yep, one aspiring champion. I've got 2 of the Forsaken, and I still have a Chaos Warrior with Halberd, and he's down to just 1 Grave Guard with Great Weapon at this point. I continue to try to use my flying crew to help in the center. A couple of my units here, you notice, get pinned down a bit because I'm trying to pull them over here. The Chaos Lord makes it out, which is crazy because he's the slowest, but he also has the most mass. And here come his denizens, and we are going to finish off the Grave Guard here. And the left flank is mine, but you're going to notice the balance of power starts to go against me. And part of that's because I brought such a small army, but also because the giant is a very valuable unit. And as you can see, he's been all but eliminated. Also on the right, where I felt I was doing really well, it appears the Stearnsmen, as well as these Crypt Horrors, are doing far better than I expected. And then since I went all the way on the left, and he already moved out of the center, I've got to come the whole way over, which is bad. That's why winning the center is always a great thing, because you can quickly get to whatever flank you want to. Whereas if you win on a side, you can have trouble getting where you need to be, especially with a slow faction like Chaos and in a wooded environment. But they're working their way over. I'm bringing in my flyers, but the balance bar is continuing to slip against me. My right flank has failed completely at this point. So, all it's here is my flying squad and this first aspiring champion. These guys are fighting like just a couple of random skeleton spearmen. You'll notice there's no banner over there. They belong to one of these groups, but they're effectively blocking my men from getting into this fight. I do have some units reform, but they're very low on men. The giant reforms, but he only has 540 health. The bar starts to go against me even more. And it's at this point where I really start to feel concerned. And I think it comes down to the choice of Forsaken. They simply, and we'll see at the end, they do quite a bit of kills, but do they do enough to, to justify it or to bring them down quickly enough? The longer this fight is, the worse off it is for me, and it's getting quite long already. And not to my benefit. These men I've tried to pull over several times, but because of the trees and these damn skeletal spearmen, they can't get there. Sure, they're doing a number on the spearmen, but they're not, in the mix, so to speak. Now, a lot of his units are having leadership issues, which causes them to crumble. And so I'm trying to use my fear, terror, and charges as much as I can. With chaos, you can cause quite a bit of fear, but it has to be perpetual against the vampires. I mean, you need it to last. Otherwise, the crumbling effect will go on and off like it is, and they're just not dying quick enough. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. So he moves over to deal with my infantry. I dive into the side. knowing that I can't have these men fall. They must stay in the fight. I need to have numbers on the field to have any chance of causing the crumbling that I need to be able to beat the vampires. But just everybody's running out of health, including my flying squad, as you can see. And, you know, they fight quite valiantly, but it just keeps slipping away from me. And, you know, I tried to cycle charging. I tried to get my guys over there. But a valiant defeat is the best the Magnus could muster. And therefore, Artemis Minion won and advanced to round 3 while I was eliminated from the tournament. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. The Forsaken, great kills. The Chaos Warriors were good. The Giant, 68 kills and a chevron for the environment it was in is crazy. The Aspiring Champions were very champion-like. One of them with 95 kills. Probably mostly zombies, but still. Chaos Lord did great. I got to use all the Winds of Magic of Chaos Sorcerer buffing, so, you know, I didn't feel anything here was bad. You look at my opponent, his Banshees were eliminated before the fight even started. You know, I got some good damage on the Strigoi Ghoul King. Not a lot of kills for his meat shield, obviously. But the Grave Guard with great weapons really put it on me, as well as the Sternsman. And the Crypt Horrors did considerable damage. So, I really think this isn't a great matchup for Chaos, but I really like the Fireball with the Chaos Sorcerer. Of course, you could do the same thing with the Empire, but I always love trying to win as Chaos. Whether it's a tournament or on the ladder, I favor them greatly. And what I really think it came down to is the Forsaken. Had I gone with, you know, a more traditional line of like Chaos Warriors with great weapons, or even just Chaos Warriors, this probably could have been a lot more winnable for me. I also think the terrain hurt me, because if that forest wasn't there, I could have possibly got another fireball down on the Strigoi Ghoul King, which would have killed him, breaking their leadership early, and then I just would have had to deal with the White King to cause them some serious problems. But anyways, very good game to my opponent, and I'd like to thank Ninja Hund for hosting the tournament. It was a lot of fun. If you wonder if there's going to be a series for this week, there will not be. I drew on Jaga in the first round, who is number 5 on the ladder. Was the best guy in the tournament by far, and is one of the 3 best players in the world. And he stomped my face in the first round, and in the second round I came very close to beating him with the Beastmen, but I lost both matches against him, so he was 2-0 and he advanced. And I didn't look to see if he won the tournament, but I imagine he did. So anyways, that was the end of the tournament. I'm going to have a lot of cool things for you guys this week. I've got some videos from some of the best, or some replays from some of the very best players in the world. We're going to be taking a look at those, doing some analysis, breaking it down and seeing what we can learn to be better players and give these guys some competition. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Until the next time, this is the Magnus, and I'll see you on the ladder.